Hey y'all, what is up? I am Libby. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things gardening and motherhood. Today I'm going to be showing you how to plant tomatoes. Last year I used this method and got thousands and thousands of tomatoes. Here are my starts right here, and whether you started from seed like I did or bought starts at the store, you can do this method. So can you see on here all of these little hairs coming off of the plant? You can actually see better over here. All of those will become roots in a tomato. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these off and plant it with probably like that much sticking up out of the ground. The next thing I'm going to do is very strange. We're going to put an egg down in that hole. For some reason, this works. It's an old wives' tale type trick that just works really well for calcium and all that stuff. I'm also going to be growing on this cattle panel here. I have 2 of these cattle panels held up by 6 T-posts, or I guess it's 5 because they share the middle one. And these are much more sturdy to hold up tomatoes once you have all the weight compared to those cheap little ones that you get at the store, those little like cone-shaped holders. Those do not do it for me. So I'm digging a really deep hole straight down, and because of that I like to use the thin shovel to do this because I like to go really deep. Once I am down far, I'm going to take an egg and we are going to crack it down in the hole, and we're also going to crush the shell and put it down there. Then we're going to take our tomato plant. Here's a really strong one. We're going to wiggle that out. And I got a little, there's one here that's growing on. And like I said, we're going to break off all those bottom leaves. So I'm going to start like here. All of these are going to come off of the plant like this. And so I have all of this area that I'm going to bury, and I'll leave just these. I'll probably take this one off too. And I'm going to leave just this little tiny bit sticking out. So all of that's going to be underneath, and just this little tiny bit's going to be left sticking out of the top. All right. So it's a little taller than I wanted it to be, but that's all right. So that is how basically we're going to grow those tomatoes. And we'll give this little guy a chance, see how he does. I'm not optimistic. And I'm going to plant this little tray of tomatoes I've got here. And they'll be, about a foot out of the ground. They have another foot to go, and then we'll start tying them up to this trellis. So we're going to do that all the way down here, and at the bottom I'm actually going to add in some pumpkins. The other thing I do is actually plant these very close together for like typical industry standards. I'm probably going to do 2 shovels. And that is because I really extensively care for this soil. I add a really thick layer of compost, probably 2-3 inches at least, to these beds, and I've done that 3 seasons in a row now. I also never till the beds, and so that helps them to have a microbiome structure that generates nutrients. There are some bacteria that help capture different nutrients, like nitrogen, for example. And so because of all that, I can plant things closer together and still have a really high yield. But if this is your first season on a property or with gardening, you're going to want to space things out a little bit further and probably fertilize halfway through to make up for that. So I know that doesn't look like much right now, but wait till you see this in the heat of summer. This is just gonna be a wall of tomatoes. It is really, really cool. I'm gonna end by putting some squash down here on this side where, let me show. Right here where there is no trellis, I'm gonna do some squash to get some ground cover so we don't deal with as much weeds. We still will have some. And then last, I just need to go back around those tomatoes and mulch. And just like that, I have a whole row of tomatoes and pumpkins planted. So that's all the tips I have for you. Dig a really deep hole, pop off those bottom branches, put an egg in the bottom, and then you're gonna wanna set up a stronger trellis than those little triangle ones. Highly recommend a cattle panel trellis. I think you can get well, you used to be able to get a panel for like 25 bucks. I don't know what they are now. And 3 T-posts is gonna last you a much longer time than those little cone ones. And it's just worth the investment because it actually holds up. I hope you can tell on how I have those trellises, the panels are just like a foot above the ground so that I can get the tomatoes up to that tall, and then I tie them on and I kind of loop them through as we go. So that is it for today's video. Please subscribe so you can see the wall of tomatoes that is surely to come. Like 90% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so go hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye.